Okay, so we are explaining an overview of our lesson number 2 project that we have to do for EME2406. So here we go. We're going to put our PowerPoint full slide and we're going to talk about what we're going to do. Okay, present. There we go.
There we go.
Okay, so we decided Alexa is a journalism major and I myself, Gianna, am a telecommunications major. So we both had to take we both had to take classes in ethics, and it goes across both of our spectrums. So we decided to do that as our project. So we're gonna begin.
First, we're going to start by overviewing the Code of Ethics. So these are all things that in a regular classroom the students would be familiar with, but we're going to go over the 4 main sections. Gian and I will alternate going over what it means to seek the truth and report it, what it means to minimize harm and give examples, and talk about that if students have any questions. Gianna will talk about acting independently while working as a journalist, as well as being accountable for your work as a journalist. And again, we'll have examples for all of these as well. And then we will transition into going into the exercise. So we'll explain that students need to take out their cell phone, and we will break down several ethical scenarios that students could very well come into, like if they decide to pursue journalism. They're all very plausible scenarios that anyone or any journalist could have to go through.
The reason that Alexa and I decided to do that, oh, this video is about to play. Oh, just kidding. The reason Alexa and I chose to do this, we originally had the class splitting into 2 different sections and working as like a news station or a newspaper that was writing these stories or covering these stories. And then we decided that we wanted to try it with individuals and have them text in their responses and go from there, because it gives us a wider spectrum of what people wanted to say and what they think is ethical and what they think is unethical. So in our 6 examples, we have 3 that would pertain to mostly newspaper or magazines or a print version. And then 3 would be for broadcast journalism. So for instance, this one is the, I'm not going to show the video, but it's the Oceana pilot names that were misbroadcast in San Francisco, I believe. And so we'll show the video, we'll ask the students whether or not they believe it was how this news station handled it. Was it ethical or was it unethical? So then we'll bring up the poll everywhere results and we'll discuss it, and then we'll see what the breakdown was. So then we'll go through the rest of the examples, and when we get to these like short response examples, we'll have
Totally see your
I
finger.
know. I wish people, whatever. When we get to these short response answers, we'll have them text to this number. So they'll text the number first. You're mean. Okay, they'll text the number first and then their response and what they personally think, and they'll text it to this 22333 number, and it will show up as a short response like we've done in our class.
And some of the scenarios lend themselves better to yes/no responses than others. So, for example, you'll in the first example
For this one,
it was a yes or no poll everywhere. In the second and the remainder of most of them, the students will text in a short response. So for this one, it would be about using like fake identities to go undercover to cover stories. So the student would, talk about if they would take on the story, if they think it's even a story in the first place, and how they would handle that ethically. So that,
once again, this one is a short response, and so is example 4 and 5. And then for 6, we decided to do 2 different questions, and both of them would be yes and no questions. So like Alexa stated before, some were easier and were able to be covered more by having a yes or no question.
And we'll also break down students' responses in between each Pull Everywhere. So we'll be able to pull up what students are saying and address if students are confused about ethical problems. So we can have students talk about that. And anyone likes talking about ethical dilemmas. So we're anticipating some good discussion from it as well.
Yep, and then on that note, once we've completed all 6 of the examples, we will go into the conclusion section. We'll answer any questions, concerns, comments that any of the students have, and then we can go back to a certain situation if somebody did not have an answer or a question that was not answered. And if any other discussion arises and someone would like to speak about something else or has an example that they would like to discuss, we can go ahead and do that as well.
And we can also reiterate how these specific scenarios fall into the 4 categories of the SBJ Code of Ethics, so we can wrap it up and continue to
make sure that all the students understand like what is acceptable and what is ethical within the realm of journalism.
Yeah.
So that is our overview, and we pretty much went over the procedures as well, so I guess this counts as exemplary as well. But so this was us trying to explain what we're going to do on Thursday in class. And yeah, hopefully our lesson plan goes well. Thanks for listening in. Thanks.